I knew you'd forget. I knew you would forget. He was telling me he wasn't gonna do it. He was telling me, "I'm not
I
gonna
actually
forget, don't
said I
worry."
wouldn't. I actually said I wouldn't. Good evening, people. I'm unmuted. Welcome to the United View. Welcome to 6 p.m. show. And a big show, man. A big show. We got a lot to get into. Ten Hag sets the record straight. The way Benjamin Sesko is pronounced, how Owen says it, but we need to talk about him as well.
Benjamin Sesko.
That's the one. I feel like that needs to be in the soundboard. That needs to be in the soundboard. But yo, let's get into this, Owen. Just go straight for it. What have we got? Because I feel like there's no time to kind of do all of this stuff. We just need to talk about what's going on. What's going on here? Ten Hag sets the record straight. Let's go straight in.
It's been a heck of a day on Netflix.
Okay.
Let's get into Eric Ten Hag. He's clearly been doing a lot of interviews today, not only with Dutch media, but with British media in the lead up to Manchester United's first game against Brighton in the Premier League this weekend. And the big comments were in an interview that he did with Viaplay Sport Netherlands, of course, a Dutch based outlet. And we've got the full conversation in front of me here, just the translated full conversation. So he was asked about Cristiano Ronaldo and about the players leaving early against Rayo Vallecano last Sunday at Old Trafford. Now, this is the full conversation. This is from the journalist. In the beginning of the conversation, we emphasize your punctuality and you endeared your way of working and indeed working on team process. But he comes in and does what he wants in reference to Ronaldo. He leaves again when he wants. How do you deal with that? And Ten Hag said, regarding the tour, he was absent due to personal circumstances. So that's not how he puts it. But then the journalist comes back and says, but against Rayo Vallecano, he went home after half time. Ten Hag responds and says, there were many more who went home at half time. And then the journalist says back to him, so you condoned that. And Ten Hag said, and this is the bit that really I think people paid attention to. He said, quote, certainly not. It's unacceptable for everybody. When asked, what do you do about that? He said, quote, I tell them that it is unacceptable and that we are a team, that you have to stay until the end. And that was the big bit, Flex, that got a lot of people talking, because obviously there's been a ton of speculation about, permission, about what message did it send? I think that was KG's big point in it when he was talking about it over the last few days. Wasn't necessarily more about permission, was about the message in which was sent by leaving early and what message that sent to the squad and him being in the playing squad, etc. It was the message. And Ten Hag said, it's unacceptable for everybody. We are a team. You have to stay until the end. What was your reaction to seeing that quote or those quotes this morning?
I was I was shocked but not shocked because my understanding of the situation, having been there, I was next to the players that were not involved in the matchday squad. You had Bruno, you had Malacia, you had Scott McTominay, you had Rashford, you had De Gea, you had Dallo, and you had Alanga and Martial. Did I say Malacia as well? I think I did. You had those guys, and it was interesting because me and KG picked up that at halftime, those players left like a little bit before halftime, like 5 minutes before halftime. They left in like the 40th minute and went into the director's bit, which is where Sir Alex is and all the guests and stuff, to kind of just keep out the way. They were ushered by their security and a player liaison officer. Then they came back out for the second half. They watched the game, and then at around the 75th minute, those batch of players, 75th to 80th minute, I don't know the exact time, but a good chunk before the end of the game, those players left. The security guy, he stood up and he went, right, guys, come on, let's go. And they all went. So I was thinking, yeah, okay, they've obviously gone to, they've come to support the team on the thing. That looked like quite normal. It looked like, okay, they're just going to go now. And then obviously the Ronaldo thing was put into that. And I was like, that's a bit weird. That's a bit weird. And then basically there was no clarity on it, was there? I mean, the truth is that at that time, we didn't know what was happening. Do you know what I mean? We actually literally didn't know. That was what the facts were. There were no facts at that time. Straight after the game, people were talking about it. KG was quite even in the video that me and KG done after, when KG said, I'd sell Ronaldo straight away. He was really pissed off that Ronaldo left at halftime. That's how it left fans feeling. It left fans feeling like, what's going on here? How comes he's left? But then some of the other players, I saw Diogo Dallo was pictured leaving as well. And to me, how I read it was like, well, we don't know what's gone on. Let's wait and see. It did stink a little bit to me, but at the same time, the facts were there were no facts. And then you get, I think it was Sky Sports saying that United don't have an issue with, but again, you have to read between the lines, because don't have an issue with doesn't mean gave permission. It means that we're choosing to say, okay, a lot of players left, like we ain't got an issue with it, because what are Manchester United going to say to Sky? Are they going to say, well, you know what, there's a massive problem there, no one was supposed to leave? But then Ten Hag, who, let's face it, we've all wanted this manager to come in, set the standards, say it as it is. He's come out a few days after that, or a day after, whenever it was, and said, yeah, all of them, like, they shouldn't have left. So whether you're focusing on just Ronaldo or whether you're focusing on the main squad, it does not matter. Ronaldo did not come up into the director's box. I was sitting right there. It was only them group of players and they left. Ronaldo was nowhere near the director's box. Let's just clear that up. He was not. He's obviously gone in at halftime, had his shower, met those guys, or I say Dallo because he left at the same time as Dallo, and Dallo left around the 75th, 80th minute. I watched him leave right next to me. So it just shows that Eric Ten Hag wasn't happy about it. So whilst we were kind of sitting on it saying the facts are there's no facts, the fact is, from the horse's mouth, our manager, who we want to see setting standards, is that he said, let's just take it away from Ronaldo. Forget Ronaldo. Ronaldo's involved with all of this because Ten Hag has said all of them. He said that it was unacceptable that anybody who left that day left. That's the facts.
No, that's true. And I remember that was the real surprising thing almost about it, wasn't it? It was the sheer lack of silence over the course of about 48 hours. Is that a lot of people wanted, answers. What is going on? Was there permission? Was it allowed? Was it planned? Let alone permission. Was it Ten Hag going, by the way, after the game, once you're taken off, I want you to all go and recover? We didn't know. We just didn't know. And I think all of these journalists were trying to find out that same thing. And
well, just on that, Owen, quickly, really quickly, on Monday morning when I was getting information together ready for Sky, when me and you were both on there, I was speaking to the club directly before that, and the line was, we're not commenting on that. That's what I was talking about. We're leaving that where it is. But what we can say is that it's the same as before. Ronaldo's not for sale. It's part of Eric's plans. We're expecting him here. But that specific, I actually posed that question. I said, there's a lot of ambiguity about what's gone on with was Cristiano supposed to leave yesterday? I was told, we're not commenting on that. Then obviously they've had to think about it. Then the second bit came out, and then now Eric said that. So that bit is a little bit of a mess. Because if they would have just come out and said it was wrong or it was right, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that probably would have helped. Again, that does jive with, I think it was James Ducker from the Telegraph this afternoon said that Manchester United are considering it, an internal sort of disciplinary matter. And again, this isn't just on Ronaldo, it's all of those players. I remember a similar situation. I believe it was under Jose Mourinho. I think it might have been that game. When we got eliminated by Derby in the EFL Cup, and Pogba was in the crowd on, I think it was like Instagram or something.
Yeah,
and I think they left early as well, and he wasn't happy about that. He wasn't happy about them being on their phones during the game. And I look at it as almost a similar situation to that, whereby it's not necessarily about individual players, and maybe the media will single out individual players, but what it's really truly about is the message overall, the perception of it all. And when United came out initially, and Sky reported that United have no issues, you do have to take a step back and go, well, realistically, what are United going to say in that medium? They're not going to come out and say it was a disgrace, it was terrible what they did, it's a lack of discipline, etc. The best thing for them to do is come out and go, oh, we've got no issue, but internally go, hey, we're not happy with that. The manager's not happy with that. Going forward, that might have been how things worked in the past.
That's what Eric said.
But that isn't. Yeah, but that isn't how things are going to work now. Maybe that's the message that's been sent. But clearly, as you mentioned from the horse's mouth, it's Eric Ten Hag saying, no, I'm not happy with it. We stay until the end, irrespective of who you are, irrespective of whether you're in the match day squad or you're not in the match day squad. If you're at the game, you support the team, you're still part of the team. If you're on the pitch, off of it, in the stands, wherever, you're still part of the team, and you have to behave as such. So if anything, I'm glad that he's come. It's not put it to bed, clearly, but I'm glad that level of ambiguity is gone, and hopefully we don't have a similar circumstance to that.
Yeah. Am I unmuted? Yeah, I am. I think the key thing to learn from this, or the thing that we need to start getting our heads around, is that we're backing our manager. Like, that should always have been the case. And don't get me wrong, there were people that take that out of context when, like, Ollie was losing every single game under the sun. It was like, back the manager. Like, that's not what this is. That's a different. That's a different thing. That's a different saying you don't think someone's up to the job because of loads of evidence proving that they're not up to the job. That's different from a guy coming in after what we've been through, with loads of players been throwing the managers under the bus, and the problems at the club and the leaks and the decimated dressing room. And then when this guy was on his way in, we all said, oh, most of us, can't speak for everyone, but we were certainly saying here, weren't we? It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. We're going to have to get behind this manager. No more player FC. And we need this guy to come in and set the record straight and set the standards. That's essentially what he's doing. I don't see how Eric Ten Hag coming out and setting the record straight is a bad thing. That's what we were asking for a manager to come in and do. Forget these players, forget their feelings. You know, remember when there's reports of when the players, and again, you had to take it with a pinch of salt, but there was some reports saying, oh, some of the players maybe not sure about Ten Hag. Some would prefer Poch, or some would like this, and some we were all like, hang on a minute, you lot don't get to choose. You lot don't get saying this. You lot throwing the managers under the. You need some. Good that you don't want Ten Hag. In fact, let's get him. Do you know what I mean? We were on that tip. So I feel like what we need to remember here, and it's not a case of finger pointing and trying to gaslight, just back the manager. Like he's like, whether it's Ronaldo, which clearly there's an issue there. I don't care who you are, what you think. There's clearly something going on with Ronaldo. Even if you can't on record 100% put your finger on it and say it's this or it's that, something's going on. Of course it is. But if we go off what our manager is telling us, and what our manager says is that it wasn't acceptable for all of them, and then even those players need to understand that they shouldn't have done that as well, and that it should never happen again, because we're backing our manager. He's coming in, he's setting the record straight, he's uplifting the standards, he's getting them into shape, and he's disciplining us. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's my.
I agree. Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think that I've seen a lot of chatter of people saying, "Oh, you're making this," or people have made it about Ronaldo. It's everything. When Ronaldo's involved in anything, he takes center attention, because he just will. That is inevitable, and I think he knows that as well. It was an increased scrutiny on Ronaldo because out of that group of players, as far as we know, he was the only player in the match day squad that left with that group of players. There was a lot of justification with it, saying other players left too. But I put out a tweet earlier today, and it's essentially to all of those people that are saying, well, Ronaldo left too, not to justify what he did, but say there were other people involved. The manager has come out and said to all of that group, the entire group, Ronaldo, Dallo, whoever it may be, unacceptable. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. It's unacceptable. That can't happen again. You have to stay till the end. It's not necessarily a Ronaldo team.
You stay to the end. We are a team.
Exactly. That's it.
How much more is black and white?
Exactly. I totally agree. And it must be said as well, Ten Hag has made some other comments about Cristiano Ronaldo today. As I mentioned, he's also been doing these interviews, one with Sky. I would assume this is probably going to air in full in the build-up to the game against Brighton on Sunday. But he has said, quote, I think Ronaldo, can fit into, when asked if he can fit into the style of play and the team, he said, I think he can, but it starts with he has to get fit. He has just started. He is a fantastic football player and has proved it so many times. You always get judged by what you are now and what you are performing now. The team and Cristiano himself has to prove it. So again, it's not a case of.
I love that. He's treating him like anybody else.
It's not a case of any agendas or any Ten Hag doesn't want Ronaldo or anything like that. Ten Hag's message has still been incredibly consistent of he wants him to stay. He wants to keep him. And I think that's the club's line still. Like you said, they've always been, he's not for sale, we want to keep him. Carve Solico also said before we went live, when he was doing his bit on Sky Sports, said, quote, what I've been told is that this whole situation rather is a circus that Manchester United could do without. And maybe that's what they are thinking of the sense of, we're meant to be doing this, rebuild, and we're meant to be focusing on the season, and we're meant to be signing players, and Ten Hag has spoken about players, and we'll touch on that in a bit. But there is this circus, and that's been going on during the tour as well. I mean, you were there. Yeah. At every press conference, it was always the elephant in the room. Yeah, it was always the question that wanted to be asked.
And you know what? We was all saying this, like when we were talking to like people, that some of the journalists, we was catching up with Adam and the guys at United Stand. We were speaking to the guys at Stretford Pat. Just everyone was just talking, and like we all said, like at the end of the day, when we get back to Manchester, we'll have to deal with the Ronaldo thing then, because it's going to come. You can't stay away forever. It was easy because he said the family thing, and we was away halfway across the world. So all we do is focus on this, and he's building those guys up, and it looked really harmonious. But then as soon as we was on our way back, we knew this was coming. Ten Hag would have known this was coming. Man United would have known this was coming and how to deal with it. And that's just what Ronaldo brings. So it's not an agenda. This is Ronaldo who hasn't been part of the preseason tour because of family reasons. This is Ronaldo who has tried to leave the club but has not been able to sort out a deal. This is Ronaldo who has come to training on his first day back with his agent. Why would he do that? But he's been professional. He's been in training. He's played his half of to get his fitness back up. And Ten Hag, at the same time, while this circus is going on, is actually doing a good job of treating him like anybody else. Yeah, he needs to prove it. I love that. You're a GOAT of the game. You've proved it many, many times, but you're judged on what you are now and where you are in this moment. And you've got to prove your fitness, mate. Good. Simple. If you prove your fitness and the window shuts, you're our player. We're paying you. Absolutely start Ronaldo. Like, you're our player. Do you know what I mean? But whilst this is going on and there's every likelihood that he can still leave, and Man United don't really want this smoke and just want it to go away, but it can't because there needs to be a solution. Either Ronaldo comes out and says, it's all been fake. I'm so happy to stay here. I've got a year left. I can't wait to knuckle down. Or he says what he's been kind of saying in and out on social media, fueling it. Do you know what I mean? Leaving early with others. And then the situation carries on. So Ten Hag has been dealt a bad set. And I remember tweeting probably last week, I said, I trust Ten Hag to deal with this with whatever hand he's dealt or he chooses. And I think we're actually starting to see that, the way he's handling this, in my opinion.
No, I agree. And isn't that why we wanted him? In addition to having, obviously the great style of football and the success he had with Ajax and being a manager or a coach on the ascendancy, a modern coach with new ideas, different ideas. He was also a guy that was incredibly strict and a disciplinarian. We all loved it when we saw the clip of him talking to Noah Lang when he was at Ajax. We loved that. And we said, oh, we really need that. The dressing room last year was so divided, but also a lack of discipline. And where is that sort of fear factor been since Sir Alex retired? And yes, there have been other managers since then that have been disciplinarians, your Van Gaals or your Jose Mourinho's, or even to an extent, I guess, David Moyes, right? But they haven't been the disciplinarian in the right way for the modern player, and someone like Eric Ten Hag possibly is. And the what happened on Sunday, if anything, could be seen as a massive test for him. And I would say he passed when he came out and said, it was unacceptable.
He's passed.
And
Sorry,
that's it. Again. Yeah, exactly. He's passed it.
He's passed, exactly, because, any manager, and let's get to any manager coming in, this could be a big reason why people aren't taking up Ronaldo on the offers, because they can see what happens if, as soon as you don't pick him, or as soon as he wants to leave, or like anything. This is what it is. And I think, like you said there, you're spot on. Like, for so long, we've wanted someone to come in and not give a crap about the players, like, in the nicest way possible, care about them, but they have to fall in line. Donny van der Beek said it when he was talking to, I think, The Athletic or Sky, when he done an interview beside us on tour. It doesn't matter that I've played for him. If you don't play good for this manager, you won't play.
Yeah, I've got no, just because he knows me it doesn't mean that it doesn't really do anything for me. If anything, it might be a bit harder because he knows what I'm capable of.
Exactly. He knows what I'm capable of. And he sees me not doing it, I ain't going to play. So I just think it's like some fans have wished for this manager, and now he's here and doing what we asked him to do. Now it's an issue. And that's what confuses me about this whole situation, especially when the facts were, after this situation happened, the facts were there were no facts yet.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There was no information. There was nothing.
There was no information. So let's just wait and see. I do agree, though, that I get that the club couldn't come out and say, yeah, it was an issue. Ronaldo wasn't supposed to leave. But they should have continued to say nothing until Ten Hag said this. Because what it does look like is that, away from Ten Hag, I don't blame him at all. I'm not disappointed in Ten Hag at all for doing what he's done, because he's doing his job. He's staying true to himself. He's backing up statements like when he said, I can 100% look the players in my eye with my decision. He's just owning his truth with his chest. So don't at Ten Hag. Do not go on Ten Hag's doorstep and start atting him. But what has happened from the club saying a bit beforehand to Sky, if they even said that, is it makes it shows Man United to be still not quite there yet with their relationships and how they manage situations,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they should have either said nothing until the manager speaks, or you say that and then nothing else happens
Yeah, and
afterwards.
that's what I was going to
Neither of
say.
those things
Maybe
happen.
there is a little bit, and maybe this is the logical explanation to it. Maybe there is just a little bit of a disconnect, and some of those players thought, well, in the past we were able to, and nobody told us we weren't allowed to leave. They leave, and then Eric Ten Hag goes in
Exactly.
Monday morning, and goes, what the f happened there? Why were you all leaving? They go, well, we were always allowed to leave, and the clubs, and maybe there was a club representative there, and they went, oh yeah, you can go because that's what they've
Because there
always
was,
done.
I
Because
saw
that's
the club representative with them, and I
exactly.
saw the security guard. That's what actually happened.
Because that's what they've always done. And then maybe Ten Hag has a conversation with all of those, those reps or people that work at the club or work at the ground and go, and to the players, I don't know what it used to be before, but that doesn't
Yeah,
happen anymore. Okay. That
yeah,
happened then. I'm almost glad it happened in preseason, because during a game, no, if that happens, you get fined this, that, and the other. And if anything, you are still going to get fined, because I need to prove my point here. Maybe that it is. Maybe, look, United's a big club. So the chances of miscommunication are very, very real. But like I said, I'm glad it's been cleared up now, and that hopefully should be the end of it.
yeah. It should be. Let's get some of the comments and super chats out. Let me just go there in order. Where is it gone? There it is. There. Right at the top. Frank Lucas says Eric Ten Hag is like Ralph, but with good football tactics. Yeah, agreed. Raz says love UV for not being a propaganda channel. Daniel. Luciano, you're never going to get propaganda here. That's not. Yeah, we're just not that. Daniel Luciano says, appreciate your opinions, being calm and collected. Appreciate you. Thank you, Daniel. Ethan Johnson says, Ten Hag setting the record straight is uncomfortable for some. We're not used to it. Fans ask for it and need to back the manager. 100% agree with that. 6 years, no trophy. Says United, yeah, it's our manager until Donny doesn't get picked and Ralph and Ollie gets the blame and Pogba and Martial FC gets fans back in over Jose. Hypocrite fans, clowns, strong words there. Let me read that. Mohammed, been a member for 2 months as well. Big up to Mohammed of the UV Members Club. He says, top work, lads. Football is toxic and so is Twitter. Great to see your positivity, rationality, and banter. I would love to meet you guys one day. Big up, Mohammed. Appreciate that, bro. Love to meet you too.
Yeah, one day.
And that is look.
And also, you missed out as someone joining the Members Club Flex. JDK Mello 007 Man United is the latest member of the UV Members Club.
Oh, big up. I can't see that on my screen. Big up. I'm glad you didn't miss that. Big up. Big up to you. And yeah, with what Mohammed was saying there, that's when I started United View, that's what I wanted it to be, and that's what it is. It's a melting pot of many many opinions. It's a melting pot of different personalities and different characters and people who have different personas and that, and deal with things in different ways. But essentially, it's a place where everyone can be heard and you say how you feel with banter and with love and with laughter, innit? Austin Baker says Eric Ten Hag setting a great structure for the players and us. Yeah, exactly. He's setting his stall out so that us as fans know what to expect. Because if now what we can expect from Ten Hag, because this is in pre-season, season hasn't even started yet. What we can expect from Eric Ten Hag, that as soon as there's something he don't like, he's calling it out. Good. That's what I want. Players know they can't cross you. Even the media, it's not going to stop the media writing lies and doing stuff, but even the media know to a certain extent, manager's not really going to tolerate any shit. So let me think twice about before I really publicize this, because in the next presser, he might come for me or, give me the cold shoulder. He's doing that. And third is us as fans. We can start getting used to somebody who has some flipping standards at this club, because that's what we've been on about. That's what we've been asking for. And my God, have we got it? So don't moan about it. Celebrate the fact that, 95% of the votes were for this manager. We've got him, and it's going to get rougher. It's going to get tougher. We're going to lose games. We're going to be in bad moments. But when it happens, battle down the hatches and get behind the guy. One thing that all the Dutch guys have been telling us, all the Dutch fans and stuff like that, especially the guys that we talk Ajax and beyond, give him time. Give him backing. And it's almost like we're getting tested with this early on to see how we, Harry Maguire is still the captain. That was the scenario I was painting before Ten Hag even come, when we were saying back the manager.
We did it here. We said I really didn't think he would do that selection. He has, back the manager. We all say it, and this was my point before, and it goes the same with the results. when Ten Hag was first announced, a lot of people said, look, even if he finishes 6th, that's Man United next season. I'm still going to back the manager. And my point at the time was that's easy to say because when you get caught up in watching some of those games and those results happen, it hurts and it hurts a lot. And
100%.
it's difficult not to be like, we're Man United. This is what we used to be. But we almost have to, not blindly, because I don't think you should blindly do anything, but if the manager goes, Harry Maguire's the captain for now, you go, okay. If the manager goes, this is what I'm going to sell this player, okay. If I'm going to play this player, okay. If this is the discipline he sets, okay. Because if we're going to get anywhere over the next few years, and there is a general feeling that this coach is the right coach for us, finally, it's difficult to say considering, we haven't had any competitive games, but it feels like he could be the right coach. It doesn't get done overnight, and there are going to be some really tough games. It's multiple seasons, it's multiple transfer windows, and we have to back the manager. We absolutely have to. Even if you don't agree or like all the decisions, the hope is that in the long term we'll like the results.
Especially early on. Like you said, you can't blindly do it, but we ain't even had any competitive games yet, and there's people questioning why he's done this and why he's done that. Hang on a minute. We all wanted him. Give the guy a chance. Like, he ain't even played a game yet, and you're questioning his decisions. Which one is it? Do you want the same players to keep doing the same shit things, or do you want a guy to come and shake it up? Make your mind up. That's all I'm saying. Smash a like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you lot are new. Super chat here from Chalaboy Comics. He says, low-key, I'm glad if Ronnie is benched. Got Martial, my fantasy Premier League as my striker.
I haven't made a team yet, Flex. I'm rubbish with fantasy football because I'll do it for 1 week and then I'll forget the next week, or there'll be like there'll be a Friday game, then I can't make any changes to my team. Then I'll be like, oh, I can't. The best people at fantasy football are people that play it every week. The people that win those leagues is consistency. That's it.
What happens is I pick some players and use my budget. Then it goes wrong in the first couple of weeks, and then I just can't be able to make subs and do this and do that, and I just lose. There's
a skill to it as well in terms of picking lots of defenders that score goals, because then you can really there's formation, there's ways to do it. I'm not smart enough. I'm just not.
Yeah, 100%. And King Royale Media, before we move on to the next topic, says this is an organic United fan channel with unbiased real fan opinion. It's clear Cristiano is only in for himself. Eric Ten Hag is here for Man United. In the words of King Royale Media, says that Ronaldo's only here for himself and Ten Hag is here for us. But big up saying this is an organic channel, which is unbiased. I appreciate that. Owen, what's next?
We can talk about one of my favorite players to say. He's got the best name in the world. His name is Benjamin Sesko.
And what about
Benjamin Sesko?
What about him?
Well, I've got to deal with the sirens first because it's very loud next to me. That's why I keep going in and out of being muted. I was trying to be professional.
You can't hear it. Don't worry, mate. If there's sirens, there's sirens. It just shows that you're being kept safe.
Do you know what the sirens are saying? Do you know why it's an emergency? Because we've got over 2,400 people watching and still not 500 likes yet. That's why the sirens are going off.
We're not even hitting the old benchmark. Yeah, target. We're not even hitting that. What's going on? Josh has raised it to 750, and we're still not even getting the 5. Josh might have to drop it back and say what's going on. We need to be getting 500. He said never. It's a disgrace. But yeah, come on, guys. We needed 2.5K watching live. We've got to get 750, surely.
Yeah, we can do it. You can do it.
I believe. Yeah, exactly.
You can do it. But yes, Sky Sports News have said in the last hour or so that Manchester United have held initial talks with RB Salzburg over the signing of striker Benjamin Sesko. I will only do it one more time. Discussions between Manchester United and RB Salzburg highlights a gap in the valuation for Sesko, and United are deciding whether or not to pursue a deal. Salzburg are under no pressure to sell as he has 4 years left on his contract. Now, Romano's been a busy boy this afternoon, Flex, because he has done a few tweets about Sesko, saying key days for Benjamin Sesko's. I can't say it without the accent now. I can't do it without the accent.
Nah, you're taking the piss, bro. Just say Ben. Owen, Owen. Just say Benjamin Sesko. You can't every time, because what you're doing is you're doing the casual, normal talk. I'm Owen. Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm normal Owen. Sesko. Yeah, I'm normal. Yeah, Sesko. You can't just do that.
I've got to pronounce his name correctly. It's
God help you if we actually get this kid.
We're terrible.
We get this kid.
We're terrible for it. Well, you're terrible
All
for it.
right.
You
All
know,
right. All right. Okay. All
Benjamin
right.
Sesko. Key
All
days for
right.
Benjamin Sesko's future with contacts ongoing. Manchester United know they have to be fast on this deal after a meeting with agents days ago. There are two more clubs in the race. Sesko will make a decision soon with his agent and his family. Now, the other club involved could be Chelsea because Romano dropped an exclusive saying Chelsea had a meeting with the agent of Benjamin Sesko. I'm just every time I'm saying his name now. Manchester United had more than one direct meeting. There's also another club in the race. The decision is up to the player in the next days as RB Salzburg hope to keep him for one more year. So there's a lot to take in there, Flex. Basically, one, United have had discussions with Salzburg and with him, but they're a bit concerned about the price. Chelsea are also in discussions and had a meeting with the agent of Sesko last week. He's going to make a decision soon with his agent and his family. So even though Salzburg want to keep him for another year, it would appear that Sesko actually might make a move this summer. But United are aware that after they met with him last week or his agents last week, they have to be fast on this deal. What's your initial reaction to that? Do you think we can do a quick deal for Benjamin Sesko?
You've done that last bit on purpose. Do I think we can do a quick deal? Do you know what? Malacia was a quick deal that we didn't expect. So I think it's unfair to say no chance. When last have we done a quick deal? Well, when we wasn't expected to get Malacia, and Ten
Yeah, a
Hag
few weeks
jumped in
ago.
and said, "Can you get him?" Yeah, like if you got an agenda, you'll say that. But we just literally did it for Malacia. However, I think in fairness to that comment, I might be being a bit harsh because this is a bigger deal to do. It's a lot more money. And it's not hijacking it last minute because the club have already agreed that he can go. It's really getting it going from the scratch. So actually, if we think about it, like, people who do say we can't really do deals, it is a bit different to the Malacia one. But you know, it still was a quick deal. Can we do it quick? Depends how desperate we are with what's going on with Ronaldo. I think also what this does show is that something is going on. You know, I mean, this kid plays number 9, doesn't he? If you've got Ronaldo and you've got Martial and you're going to get a kid for 50 million euros, who's 19, still got space to grow, and he might be third choice striker, would the kid want to come? Like, I don't know. Chelsea, would they get him and put him straight in at number 9? You
Well,
know, this
Chelsea
kid's got
does
a lot.
make somewhat sense. They're looking for a striker, aren't they?
They're looking for a
Lukaku's out on
striker, yeah.
loan. Werner's
Mm,
going out back to Leipzig. They're looking for that next number 9. Would they put all of their
yeah.
hopes on a
It's a
19-year-old?
lot. He's still
It's a
got a
lot.
lot. I still feel like this kid's just come to the forefront in only the last couple of weeks. Like, I'm not saying like just because I've never heard of him, he's not good. I'm not saying that. But you know, like the Nunes one was building. He's really highly tipped. Like even when what's his face was starting to cook, Haaland, when he was at Salzburg, when he was starting to cook, the noises around him were a lot louder. Then he gets the move to Dortmund and he goes up in them stages. Especially people within that RB establishment, they do things the right way. And I'm just not so sure that Man United have tracked this kid for a long time and then now have decided to do it. It feels a little bit rushed. I don't know, but then
How would you feel if we signed him, though? If we signed him, would you be like, I tell you what, it's exactly what
well,
more attacking options? Or would you go, it's a signing? The way I look at it as it's a signing. Is it the one we need at the moment? That would be my one thing. Like I've said, but you know
yeah,
what's wild is that most of the summer I was saying I prefer a number 9 over a winger. I've gone the
yeah,
other
you
way
did.
now
Yeah,
because I've seen what happened last weekend that we don't really have hardly any wingers if Rashford or Sancho gets injured or ill. And I'm like, oh, now we really need a winger.
it's
If we
not. Yeah,
signed a
but if Ronaldo
9,
leaves, Owen, then we've only got it's the same thing.
is
If
he going to
Ronaldo
leave
does
though?
go,
Is he going to leave though? Or does that conversation become a lot easier? Do the club then go, actually, you know what? We'll let you go then. He's not for
of course.
sale. He's not for sale because we don't have a replacement. If we sign a
It's funny.
replacement, maybe he does
Yeah.
become for sale.
But it's funny how all these things link back to Ronaldo because what we were saying before is if you would have had somewhere to go, we probably would have let you go. Or we have no intention of letting you go because we already need to try and get a winger. We can't get a striker on top of that, so we need you to stay. Like it could be either or, but the line from the club has obviously been that he's not for sale. You take that as you want, but the Sesko situation,
Excellent.
I tried. Yeah, there you go. I don't want to be ignorant to it. It's like, to answer your question of how would I feel if we signed him, it depends. It does depend if Ronaldo leaves for me.
It's a weird
I feel
feeling, isn't it?
because yeah, because
I'm with the same
if
as you.
Ronaldo stays and we go and spend 50 million euros on Benjamin Sesko and not 50 million euros on a left or right winger as backup, I see that as a bad move.
What
Because then
about
what you're
this?
saying is, go on.
What about you sign Sheshko for 50, 55 million?
All right.
You get rid of Ronaldo and you get Memphis Depay on a free. Because he is going to be on a free because he's negotiating a release from his contract at Barcelona. Put it in the let us know in the live chat. Would you take Sheshko for 50, 55 million and Memphis Depay on a free? Would you then be like, actually, you know what? That's a winger, that's a striker, and on
Okay,
top of
here's the
that,
thing.
Ronaldo
All right.
goes.
So here's the thing. There is no guarantee that Benjamin Sesko is going to bang and score loads of goals. There ain't no guarantee. The kid's never played in this league before. He's got loads of, compared to Ronaldo, who we know who can do the job. One thing I refuse to forget is that Ronaldo's still a sick player. I get that. Like if Ten Hag, is sticking to his guns of he's Ronaldo, once he gets up to fitness, I want to work with him. He will make us a better team. But it's the circus that goes with him. So if Ronaldo is adamant that he wants out and this circus keeps going, if you ask me, would I rather get rid of the circus and the drama, go over a young kid who we can get behind and Martial's the main nine? Depay, I just don't really want to revisit Depay, but then if
I
it's on a
don't. But
free,
if it's a
it could
free,
be
that's
the
my only
best.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's on a free, I don't think you could argue with it. I wouldn't be entirely happy with that. But I would see it as again, if they did it, I know that Ten Hag would have vetoed that, so I'll be behind it. But I would be like, it wouldn't have been my choice to go and get Depay. But with the situation and the cards that we were dealt with, Ronaldo digging his heels in, we had to let go of that situation. This is a young kid we can build up. That does fit into the mold of the type of players we want to start getting. But I think my feelings would be stronger if I knew more about Benjamin Sesko. Like it would. I would feel a lot more strongly about it if I could be honest with you guys and say I've watched this kid play. Listen, there's a lot of potential there. He's really good. I can't say that, so that's why I would always have a people's eyebrow up over Benjamin Sesko. There you go. Because me personally, I don't know enough about him. I would be trusting the United scouts, which obviously that hasn't worked out great. But under this manager, we are starting to get players that he likes, and if he says he knows about him and likes him and wanted him as a replacement for Ronaldo if he left, then I'd have to get behind it. So I kind of answered it,
Yeah.
but I kind of haven't.
It's when we spoke about Memphis a few weeks ago or whenever it was. I was like, no, I'm with you. I don't want to revisit it. I don't think he's that good. I think he thinks he's that good. It didn't work out for him at United. There was a huge amount of hope and expectation. I was a season ticket holder that year when he was at United, and he was not good. The football was not good. And since he's left, he went to Lyon. Fine, did fine, but it's Lyon. Barca again. I was surprised he got his move to Barca. If anything, it was quite indicative of the players that they were going for over the last few years. But on a free, the only reason I could see it happening is because it does plug the holes we're looking to plug. You would go, wow, it's a 9 and it's a wide player for free, but with some experience that Ten Hag knows because he's Dutch, I guess. There is parts of that where you go, wow, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Yeah, it would be. I would say that is the best outcome we could get out of the situation we could find ourselves in with like a week to go and Ronaldo does get his wish or really digs his heels in and start, because also you have to remember this is I think that the situation can change a lot once Ronaldo hasn't started games. Once games start getting ticked off, like the first 3 games in August, and he hasn't played much. One, because he's getting up to fitness and he starts getting a bit arsey maybe, or he, I don't know. I still think that Ronaldo's camp, and this is just my opinion, it's my assumption, it's not fact. I think that Ronaldo will still be looking for a solution right up until deadline minute. I honestly do think that. Do you know what I mean?
And let's face it, if we're hoping we start the season okay, but let's say disaster of all disasters happens in the first two or three games we lose, then Ronaldo.
Everyone will be calling for Ronaldo back in.
Well, not wow. And I'm more thinking about Ronaldo, who are thinking another season of this. Like,
Yeah,
no way.
exactly. Yeah,
I'm going
there's
to
two
push
things.
even harder.
And that's why this is going to keep
if Ronaldo
changing.
gets an offer, he's probably played. Look, Ronaldo's played nicey nice at the moment because there is an offer on the table. You think if a club finally says, actually, we figured it out, We know the finances. We can make it work. Napoli or Atletico. Yeah, finally we've got rid of this player. We can make this deal work. You don't think then he then starts to push a little bit harder, going, actually, I've
Yeah,
got somewhere I can go. Things can
exactly.
change and evolve quickly. I mean, we're talking about Sesko and Depay. What can we keep Ronaldo and get him more? Who says not? I mean, if we're making a bid for Sesko, if we're trying to sign
Oh,
him,
big
is
shout
that a
that.
possibility too?
That's a big shout that. Then the
There
young
would you be happy,
Ukrainians.
Flex? Would you go, oh,
Oh, because then you have got then if you think about it, not everything has to be like for
options?
like. To be fair, you could just say, well, then we're quite stacked because then you say, right, you've got Martial to cover left wing and up front. You've got Sesko who can come in with Ronaldo up front as well as Martial. Then you've got Depay for the right wing or left wing. Um, yeah, it then changes our forward line
Options.
dramatically. Options. I don't see something where that will happen. So yeah, smash a like on the video, guys. We are at 683 likes. I think we can get 750. Matthew Trout, big up Matthew Trout. He says, what do you think about Mark Goldbridge digging himself a hole with his lies? So proud and love United view Flex. Look, I'm not here to talk about what others are saying, what they're doing. Thanks for the question, but people, Mark can say what he needs to say. That's not for me to comment on. That's not for any, that's up to him what he wants to do. So we're just going to just crack on and do what we do and just do our content basically, and interact with you guys. But thank you for the super chat, Matthew. Appreciate that. Lil Yo-Yo says the Sesko police appear every time Owen says Sesko. Yeah, they're just rocking up saying, are you saying it
It's
right?
my favorite thing to say. Honestly, Flex, I can't stop. I will be sitting here like on my laptop or doing whatever, and I'll just sort of stop and go, Benjamin Sesko, and then start again. I can't. It's just Josh is the same with the word Chicago. He does Chicago. He goes Chicago, and it's like he's Benjamin Sesko.
Okay. And Jermaine says, it's amazing how United keep finding gaps in valuations. Every deal United gets into, they find a gap. Gaps just keep popping up everywhere we turn. Ray S says, go all out for Sesko, whether CR7 stays or not. That's basically what Owen was just basically alluding to. And Garsha says, come on, United View, 2,000 likes. We love this channel. Flex Stone Love Settings. 2,000 likes. Imagine that.
Could you
Oh, we
imagine?
need it. I know, that'd be crazy. We just about hit 750 likes as well, which is really good. The real Ronaldo says, Owen said, I'm not smart enough. Flex's response, 100%. Sorry, the real Ronaldo. Sorry. And Sandman Bamble is the latest member of the UV Members Club. Big up to you. Appreciate you doing that and joining up with the gang. The real Ronaldo also says people should know.
I just read it.
What?
I just well, you can read it if you want.
Read what?
The real Ronaldo's last one.
Oh, people should know I just needed to take a poo-poo. What? I don't understand.
He went for
what
a poo.
do you mean? Oh,
Sounds like he's just needed a poo.
all right. Okay, lovely. Oh, okay. The poll is polling right now. Would you take Sesko for £55 million and Depay on a free transfer if Ronaldo leaves? 75% of you guys have said yes, you would do that. 25% of you has said no, you wouldn't do that. So let's see what you lot are saying, and let's see if that's even going to happen. I don't think it will. Lil Yo-Yo says, didn't want to miss your second super chat, bro. Says, I bet Ranić recommended Sesko to Man United. Is a bit Ranić-like, isn't it? The RB link, playing in out there in Salzburg under that umbrella. Sounds like something that would get recommended his way anyway. Owen, what else we got?
We'll talk a little bit about Frenkie de Jong. Now, this morning, of course, David Ornstein reported that Chelsea were in talks for Frenkie de Jong, but Erik ten Hag was asked about signing players and asked specifically about Frenkie de Jong in this interview that he did with Sky Sports, and he responded rather as you would expect him to. It's the same thing he said when he was on tour. When he was asked about FDJ, he said, quote, "No, I can't talk about Frenkie de Jong. I don't talk about players who are not under contract at Manchester United." Then when he was asked about what kind of players they're looking for at Manchester United, he said, quote, "We know what we want, and it's not about signing players. It's about signing the right players. We are really planning it carefully, strict to that, and hardworking to get the right players in to construct a good squad who can win games." So more of the same, really, Flex, when asked about de Jong as to, I'm not going to talk about players that are under contract. It's funny, those questions, because what are they going to say? He's never going to come out and say,
Never. Never.
we're in negotiations, or he's not even going to say, we really like him. He just goes, no, I'm not going to talk about him or anything like that. But what I did find interesting was the part where he said, it's not about signing players, it's about signing the right players. And to go back kind of to that Depay point there, where you could talk about that could be, that's signing a player, say it's a free, and if signing a player in the position that we need, but is it signing the right player?
Well, only Ten Hag can decide that, because Ten Hag might decide he can get a tune out of him and he can fit into his philosophy. Us as fans might not think it, even though 75% of you guys would do that if that happened. But I suppose it's not for us to judge. We can have our opinions on it. That I don't think it's right. He's been here before. It's probably not. It's just not really the direction you want to go in. But if the manager thinks it, but that is refreshing to hear. That shows you that every player we have got so far. So this thing of, like, obviously people are saying we've had a poor transfer window so far because the season's about to start and we've only got 3 players in. I hear that.
They're not
And
starters,
clearly,
Flex.
yeah, some people are saying they're not starters. We're not. Well, Martinez is going to start, it looks like. I think it's a safe bet
I think all
to
3
say
of
that
them do.
Malacia. Yes, a safe bet to say Malacia will start. And you could even throw Frenkie de Jong. I wish we could.
Imagine.
You could even throw Christian Eriksen into that. Would he start? I don't. Maybe Eriksen might still need more game time to be able to start. I don't know if he'll start. But he could exactly. And if he does, then that's 3 starters. I remember we did a video ages ago, and we did it in the studio, I think, and we was talking about how many new starting lineups, the players there would be in the lineup. I can't remember what we all said. Can you remember that? You got a better memory than me. Do you remember that? I think it's me, you, and KG, or it might have been me and you. And we was saying, I think you was like, no, I think there'll be 3 new ones or 4 new ones. I can't remember
Yeah,
what it was.
I can't remember. I think looking back, it looked like that the hope would be like 5, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would be 5. That would be
Yeah.
5. The looking back, the hope would be that we'd sign 5 players and they'd all be starters, right? And I think those players we thought were like a centre back, Frenkie de Jong, so defensive mid, a 6, another central midfielder, a winger, and a striker. So I think it was like 5 starters we were looking at roughly. I think all 3 start on Sunday. I don't see why not.
You think Eriksen will start?
I think so. He played back-to-back games, really, didn't he? On 2 separate days. So I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah,
It'll
just
be
to get
interesting
fitness
to
up.
see
Yeah.
who he would start instead of. I
Might not
think
play
that
90 minutes, but he could start.
yeah, I think that, I mean, if you ask me to predict the team now, I would say De Gea, Dalot, Martinez, Maguire, Malacia, Fred, Eriksen. Hopefully Sancho's recovered from. So Sancho, Bruno, Rashford, and then Martial. I think probably be the team he would go for. And that starts all 3.
and that would be what we've watched, what we've seen in possession. It would be Fred as a lone 6, as the holder, which you don't normally, associate him with, but in this system.
He hasn't done horribly as that. It must be
No, he
said.
hasn't. That's what I mean. And it'll be
that red
Eriksen
card,
and Bruno ahead.
That red card against Atletico kind of does sort of, smear a little bit. Like he played well. He played well. I don't know what he was doing for the red card, but he played. I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, he did. He did play really well. And generically on the tour has been playing really well. He's been part of the real good performances that we saw before they started to tail off. After that second half against Palace, we never really managed to raise the level back up, and that's why people felt a little bit empty by the end of
and
by the
end
frustrating
of the thing
we started off so well.
Yeah, that second half against Palace, particularly that first sort of 15 minutes when Donny came on for McTominay, and you had that. We played probably the best football we played on the tour in that 15 minutes. We were brilliant, and we haven't been able to see all of that since.
But then next game against Aston Villa, first half battered.
But I would still argue we didn't play as well in that first.
No, not
first
as well as that
Villa.
15 minutes.
It's
but
just that
still
15
sheer
minutes.
dominance.
But still, you could see what we were trying to do and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm still relatively optimistic. I've seen quite a bit of negativity over the last sort of 48 hours going into the season. Here we go, going into a season we're not ready. We haven't got all the players we wanted, clearly. But
Ten Hag's made enough of an impact in pre-season for me to say I can tell they're playing differently. It's not like I'm seeing the same old United. Obviously, we've seen some of the stuff that you can't just shake off in 4 games, in 6 games. Sorry. Obviously, we're going to see that. We're going to see that throughout the season because you can't get rid of it in 1 year, let alone 5 games.
Yeah.
But I've still seen in terms of the fundamental way that we're trying to play football and manipulate the ball and create situations for ourselves by the way we attack, the way we press, the way we set up. I can see enough change in that to say we're playing differently. That's why I am confident against Brighton at home. I am.
Yeah,
Obviously, if we lose, we lose,
and
but
me
I'm
too.
confident.
Look, obviously we don't really do predictions here, but I'm confident. I think that we'll win. If, especially
Mm.
again, I think it is really important that Sancho's fit. If Jadon Sancho's
Yes,
ill, then I
that's a
go,
big if.
then I
Yeah,
go.
that's a big one.
I don't know. And again, that just shows how light we are. But you saw the difference he made when he didn't play against Atletico. But I mean, it can't be understated how well he played in pre-season and how
Yeah, he
sharp
played
he
really
looks
well.
and how sharp that front three looks.
Yeah,
And I think that front three is good enough to do damage against Brighton. I think having Christian Eriksen in that deeper role is, again, enough to do damage against Brighton. I think Fred's done well. Defensively, yeah, still very vulnerable, it looks like. But those sort of incidents against Atletico where we were playing out from the back, but it looked quite shaky, that didn't have Martinez in the defense. I'm not saying that him coming in, suddenly we're just, we can pass it around from the back easily. I don't know if that happens, but I'd be relatively confident going into the game against Brighton. I'm still not confident going into, say, the third game against Liverpool. I don't think we've done enough to go into that game and be like, oh, yeah, we can win that game.
mm.
But like I said, I've seen enough in preseason where I go, oh, going into, put it this way, going into last season when we played Brighton at home and when we played Brighton in general, because we got absolutely battered by them at the Amex, tap on the post and all that.
Don't know what you mean.
Going into these kind of games at home, I was not confident at all. I go, yeah, we're probably going to lose. Going
Mm.
into the game against Brighton, the first game, I'm a bit like, wow, I feel like we'll win that one. If we
Yeah,
should.
yeah.
That's a
It's not off the
change.
back of a bad run and stuff like that. First game of the season. If anything, our players are renowned. Even if people still got their doubts that they'll end up, capitulating and throwing the towel in and dropping off. They start okay. They start running around when a new manager comes in. You usually get a bit of something. And even in our worst moments, we were still beating Brighton at home. You know what I mean? Like even last season, we beat him at home. It wasn't easy. I remember Ronaldo hit one from outside the box, which was a wicked goal from nowhere. And Brighton were putting it on us. Like it wasn't easy, but we still managed to win. Amex, different ball game, got absolutely pants pulled down. But at home, I mean, I think we'll be okay. DT3K says, would you guys have Serginho Dest at right back from Barca? Played under Eric Ten Hag at Ajax, and there's been loose links, clear of Dallo, 15 to 20 million. It's just whether
I did see that. There was some
yeah,
like like they said, very loose kind of like,
yeah.
possibly. I
But
don't
has he?
know.
I don't. He didn't do that great at where was he again? My mind's just gone blank. Barca. He was just at Barca, wasn't he? I don't think he did amazingly well, did
He's
he?
better than Wan-Bissaka though, isn't he? If you got
He's
him
better
in,
than he's
if you
better
got
than
him,
Wan-Bissaka. Yeah,
if you got
15
him
to 20
in, and then you
million.
had Dallo and him as your right back options,
Yeah,
it's an
yeah. It's
upgrade.
just whether we're trying to get Benjamin Sesko, as you say,
Benjamin
and
Sesko.
we're trying to get him for 50 million euros plus trying to get another right winger. Do we still have a spare 15, 20 million knocking about for him? But if Wan-Bissaka leaves, hopefully it'll be on a permanent so we can get some money and then reinvest back into that position. Because if it's just a loan, then like what Tellez is going to be, we're still not acquiring more money. Daniel Luciano says, when it comes to the poll, it's about long-term and short-term. I need the manager to have full backing on setting the foundation. Big up you two. Big up to you, Daniel Luciano. Thank you for sensible comment there. Love that. And Nathaniel says, Frenkie de Jong not coming. Lissandro at DM and Bailly until he breaks, which we all know when that would be.
One game.
MUFC, yeah, exactly. MUFC now says, Flex, any comment on what that keeper said? Yes, me and Owen spoke about Dean Henderson earlier today and had our say on that. To quickly summarize, we both kind of agreed that whilst we understood his frustrations at where he's at in his short career so far, we thought it was a little bit over the line, a little bit disrespectful and a bit uncalled for. It was just it was like an unprovoked attack. Sit down at this nice, gathering with all the kids to promote the Premier League. How you feeling? And he just came out like in quote caged animal. So we just felt it was a little bit over the top, MUFC now. But check out the video from this morning if you want to get more in depth of what we said. King Royal Media says, what Eric Ten Hag did in 3 weeks, Ollie tried to do for 3 years. Well, what, as in implement a system and get some standards, you mean? Is that, I'm guessing that's what you mean. Yeah, it looks so. And Bashkar says, starting another season with McFred is a disgrace.
It might not be.
And that's the thing there. I've seen quite a few people saying, we're not going to get anywhere because we've still got McFred and we still got this. Well, let's just see who Ten Hag picks in his first 5 games. Because yes, McTominay and Fred are still there. They're both fit. It'll be very interesting if not both of them start in a pivot. It'd be interesting if they do both start in a pivot with just Bruno ahead. Especially, but then again, let's see what happens when he gets Eriksen up to speed.
Yeah, it might be Fred and Eriksen. It might be Freriksen. Yeah.
Freriksen. That's even worse. That one. God, what? No more joint pivots. Even if Dion comes, no. You know what I mean?
Freriksen.
Yeah, no more. No more, please. No more. We are at, just to let you guys know, 926 likes, guys.
We can do this.
We're gonna hit 1,000. I'm not even gonna ask, can you smash a like to make us hit 1,000?
I'll do it then. Can you smash?
No,
a
you
like
don't
to
need
hit
to.
1,000?
I'm saying I believe in the community. They're gonna make it get to 1,000 in like the next minute. They will do it because the community's been communitying, and I just feel like it's gonna happen without even us asking. And it's on the way up. It's gonna happen. It's nearly there. You all laughed at me. 991. It's about to be 1,003. There you go. So on that note, we hit 1,000 likes. We covered everything. I think we've covered it very first time ever, 1,000 likes. So if KG had the buttons and the bombs and that, they would be dropping right now.
And he did, by the way, KG, just to touch on him, because I love talking about him because I fancy him. Did you see that? Did you see that?
What did you say? What have you
Did you see that? I spoke about KG this morning, and someone said, "Oh, you always talk about KG, you fancy him." And I said, "It's better than bullying him." In fairness, maybe that's why I bullied him. I'm in love. But he did want to be here this evening, but he's on a shoot. He's late shoot, so he would have been on here, but he couldn't.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be doing something when he gets home from his shoot.
Yes.
So if he does a Red Wednesday, go and check it out. You know, KG is the voice of himself. He will always let you know how he is feeling. He is the reckless delegate CEO. So yeah, feel free to go check him out later on. And in about in about half an hour, you can catch me on Complex and Kicking It with my good friend Alexis Guerreros.
Yes.
Talking all things football. So if you are not up to anything at 7:30 and you want to join in,
or even if you are, scrap it. Go watch.
If you are, come and watch me.
Complex, yeah.
It's all about me. Then feel free to come and have a look. Guys, 2 wicked shows today. So much to cover. We will see you guys again tomorrow morning, bright and early. Oh, well, I won't actually. I'll be on Sky at 9. So check that out. Maybe have them on simultaneously because Owen will be live at 9 a.m. as well for the transfer view. So we are out of here, guys. Peace.